Remember, hard work is every hard work. What is hard work? Working hard every day using your brain. Be smart.
What was these athletes, you're practicing, and of course you know a lot of people already in that kind of level of high performance. So what kind of their most challenges or something they struggle from? Is it fear? Is it confidence? Is it routine, lifestyle? What is it actually?
No, that's the pressure. There's only one strategy. Give more, give more, give more. Do more, do more, do more. Finish this thing exhausted. That's when you're going to be proud of yourself. That's how you earn the victory.
Pressure to not so much to lose, but it's also about their own performance. Because carry on the flag, Chinese flag on their shoulder, there is so much pride. I mean, every Monday morning before practice, we have the national anthem with the flag rising up, everybody's standing up, and
you're the best. And even the best have to show it. Even the best has to prove it.
Today's guest is a true force in the global high performance, someone who transformed breaking from street culture to Olympic podiums. He's coached the Chinese national team to Olympic gold and bronze, spoken in 67 countries, and is a 13 times world championship athlete. This is a masterclass podcast session, is a mindset, is a discipline, and what it really takes to operate at the highest level. Welcome to Level Up with Hakim. Welcome to the show, Mounir.
Thank you, Hakim. Thank you.
How are you doing?
For the presentation. I'm doing good, and it's really good.
I'm doing good. I'm really thrilled. I'm super excited. I think I've been watching your journey from very long time ago when I even started. So it's really nice to come together in a podcast and talk about, how did it started, and we're going to go through a lot, but I'm really excited. Thank you for your time. I know you're busy. I know you just came from China and you've been always traveling the past couple of months. So really appreciate your time to share some of your insights and some of the experiences, which absolutely going to be of value to the show and add to the show. So thank you.
Thanks to you. The pleasure is mine, really.
Absolutely. It's an incredible honor to have you. And really your journey, I think one of the most unique parts of your journey that you didn't only stay to the breaking kind of direction, but also you have the entrepreneurship mind as well. And you have your own business and you have your own program, which you really help a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs, which I'm definitely going to talk about it today. But that's what really makes your journey so interesting, because as we both know, it's not a lot of people can really do both direction, because it's difficult. It's difficult to maintain being athlete and competing, and also in the same time entrepreneur. But with you, nothing is impossible. I think, like your company, hard work easy. So I wanna really take this moment to before the athletes, before all of that. Who was Mounir from before? For the audience, for people who don't know you.
Actually, I was just a young teenager who was passionate about sports. I was doing a lot of sports since I was very young. Actually, I was really good at running when I was young, very young, very, very good and talented at running. That's probably the only talent I had really at that time, but I was not passionate by running. I always felt it's boring. So I was like 9, 10, 11 years old when I really performed on a high level in running. I was really having breaks, school race, regional race, national, everything. I stopped because I was really not passionate by it, but I was really passionate like football. And so I really wanted to be a professional football player until I met breaking. When I was 13 years old, I met breaking. I did both for 2 years. And when I was 15, I gave up football to just dedicate myself to breaking. And about what you said, that the journey and the fact that we managed to do a lot of things at the same time, I think it comes from the fact that breaking, mostly we are self-taught. So we had to learn to do everything. So not only we had to learn how to dance, how to perform, but we had to learn how to promote ourselves, how to make our own video promotion, how to make our own music showcase. When you do the world championship and you have like a show competition, I was doing all the audio stuff and the music for the show, for a big theater show. I was doing the video promotion, to say we were doing our own commercial ad, promoting ourselves, sending email, telling contact. We were doing everything. So we learn how to do everything since day one.
Yeah, definitely. I get what you're saying. You know, when you don't have anything, you kind of try to find your ways, you know. You try to find the tools, try to find how you do it. And I can relate to that. I remember also when I was also doing shows and like back in the days when I was in Qatar, and every time we went to like a company or somewhere, they ask us, "Oh, can you send us videos? Can you send us, you know, some pictures, whatever?" And we had nothing, and I wanted to look professional, so I had to make a website myself. I was like,
And you
what
have
is that?
to get to get somebody a professional to do it for you. So you record yourself, you make the video editing yourself, you do everything by yourself. So
Yeah,
after years and years doing such thing, you learn how to manage different things and you develop different skills.
that's really interesting. Were there a moment that you realized, okay, this is what I need to change. This is the mindset that I need to kind of set to myself and the direction. Was there a moment, or it was along the way you learned that?
I think it was along the way. You know, when I was young, I grew up with only one movie, and that was Rocky 3: Eyes of the Tiger. Now, that was the only tape I had in my father's
Yeah.
home because I was living with my but like 2 times a month or vacation I spent with my father. My father was not really around, so basically alone. So I had one tape at home, you know, and I was Rocky 3: Eyes of the Tiger. I never watched the one, I never watched the two, I never watched the other. I had only this one. I knew everything perfectly, the dialogue from the first minute till the end. So I grew up with this intensity, with this, you know,
Mm.
with energy in this mindset. So when I started to, you know, trying to become a professional football player, even when I was young, I had big goals, big ambition. Sports is part of my DNA. You know, like in my family, I have uncles who played handball in a pretty high level, and I was always like looking at them and stuff. And we had this kind of ability in my
Mm.
family. All my family, they are very good in sport, like basketball, football, handball. That's the three sports that we were very good at. So I grew up this way, and I was the youngest because I spent a lot of time with my uncles, with my cousin, but I was the youngest. I was kind of following them, you know, and so they always pushed me in. In my family, we are in a
And
good
that's
all the
yeah.
time.
That I can definitely see that. I know that from your competitions. Definitely.
Thing when I started breaking, I took it seriously straight.
Yeah, of course. I think you one of the people who really one of the few actually world championship for BC1 that really, you know, won the title from the beginning. You went to the qualifier from the beginning, you went all the way. You were not in a wild card or anything, but you really and that was such an inspirational year because of course like really a lot of people would expect a lot of other b-boys, you know, to make it, but I think you really showed your discipline, you know, your motivation. And I was following as well. You were posting all of the workouts, you know, videos before.
Between me and my opposite was so huge and so obvious that it kind of changed breaking.
Yes, yes.
It really changed breaking. And people really started to realize that the physical ability, the athletic performance becomes as important as the artistic performance, you know. But before that, absolutely nobody took care of their health or their physical condition or whatever. It was a different lifestyle. But naturally, because of where I come from, I brought the physical condition and the mental aspect, you know, late 2000, early 2010. So it changed breaking, you know, and it helped people to change their lifestyle. Yeah, it was a crazy year. It was really and
Yeah, yeah. And I think
13 years
personally,
done this journey yet.
yeah, yeah. And to be very honest, for me personally, and of course a lot of people there, you have been already talking about the you know the mindset and taking care of your body and your mind for even before you win the title, and you kind of showed it. You know, you led by example. So you were you proved it. You know, like here you go. This is it's possible.
And if you remember, a lot of people were making fun of me. You know, in the competition, they started to do like push-ups. They started to mirror like I was doing jump rope.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
no, you're an athlete. You know that it was like kind of a shame back then to be an athlete. You know, but after, of course, when you start winning titles after titles, people start to realize that oh shit, maybe there is something right. You know, in this
Yes, yes.
people started to change their mind, and then this is how I started to coach the same people that were making fun of me at the end.
Yes, yes, you're right, and I think especially nowadays with the new generation, you really have to do something different because if you just breaking just a normal workout, you go to practice, you go to the session, and you don't really have like a program and a mindset, you're not gonna succeed. Definitely, it's kind of connected to my second question, which is about the resilience, because of course, winning a title and winning competitions, and you won a lot of titles, really demands resilience physically, mentally, emotionally. So what was your first wake up call? Like you said, okay, I need to build something different. I need to work out something different. What was this moment or wake up moment?
I knew since the beginning that I was not so talented. My talent was not the skills, was not the technique. My style was not going to make people crazy, drive people crazy, or like have the crowd jump out or whatever. No, I didn't have that kind of skills. My skills, I realized later that my talent was my ability to never give. And that was my ability,
Discipline.
harder than everybody else. And so, because when you are not so much talented, you actually have to work harder than everybody else. So what's happening on the long term is that the same people who are so much talent, who had so much talent, and for whom it was so easy for them, when you reach a certain level, your talent is not, because
Yes.
now the level where you only surrounding yourself with talented people. You compete against talented people, but now your talent is not enough. So you gotta work. You never worked before. And you don't know how to work. You never did.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
You never lost actually, but now you start lose. Now you start to struggle and you don't know how to do. But for me, everything was a struggle. So nothing has changed for me.
Nice, nice. It's all about, like you said, like never give up, even when you lose, even I think you learn a lot. And obviously you did learn a lot along your journey, especially in a world of breaking. Really, ego can kill you, can really damage your career. And I'm interested to understand and learn from you. How did you develop that humility to kind of grow your mindset, to stay on the ground and also being, winning 13 titles and on the top, one of the top teams crews in the world, traveling the world, have accessibility to so many different things. How did you manage this ego?
No, you have to remember where you come from. I mean, I was just a young teenager. Nothing was planned. I was not supposed to do all this. That's what I said so often. I was not supposed to do all this. I mean, it's just circumstances, the will, the discipline, the work behind. Of course, I had the ability, maybe instinctively, to surround myself with the right people. I was not really going like I knew, the people that I needed. Always trying to stay close to right people, really great people, help me, push me, protecting me. So basically, for me, it's natural, to stay on the top. Let's say, to be on the top. I started as a young beginner. I didn't wake up one day and it was for champion. No, I was a beginner.
Yes.
Jordan was a beginner. Lionel Messi was a beginner. Everybody was a beginner in his field. I was a beginner in breaking. So I had to work a lot. So to reach that level, you need the humility to learn. You need to be a student. So when you start, you're a beginner. So you need to ask advice. You need to learn. So you need to go and have teachers, mentor. And so when you start growing, you become average. When you average, nobody look at you. Nobody cares. You average. It's like you just a ghost. You here, but nobody sees you. You average. Nobody cares. And so you keep going. You keep pushing yourself. And then you start to become good. When you start to become good, people start to look at you. Now they
Yes.
look at you. And now they start to come and want to be with you and just share with you. They don't learn from you yet, but they want to share with you. It's kind of a mutual inspiration. And then when you keep pushing and you become, after being beginner, average, good, then you start to be really good. And nothing's too dramatic because now people start to learn from you. They ask to you. Now you become the one. Anywhere you go, you become the one that people see, the one that people look at, and now people, want to learn from you. And then if you keep learning, you keep pushing yourself, then you can become great. Once you're
Nice.
great, there's nobody out there. You're alone. There's nobody. There's very, very few people
But yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
start. But once you're up there, because that's not the hardest part. That was the easiest part. Starting your journey from a beginner to an average to good to real good to reach the top, that was the easiest part. The hardest part is to stay there.
Stay there. Yeah, to stay there.
If you look at all the people who actually get the climbers for climb a mountain, they go to the
Yeah,
Everest, to the
yeah,
highest, the trip to get there can take weeks, months. But once they are there, they stay for just 5 minutes. Quick picture, they look at the view, they have to go down straight.
yeah,
They can't stay. There is no oxygen. They can die. They can't stay.
yeah.
You stay on the top. So that's what it requires. So once you're on the top, to stay there, you got to keep the same mindset, the one you started with,
Yeah.
young beginner. You have to stay a young beginner. Think like a young beginner
Keep learning and keep developing.
the time. That's the only way you can stay at the top. Of course, you know who you are. Like if you ask Zidane, Zidane is always been known for his humility in football.
Yes,
Everyone knows who he is. He just doesn't have to say it loud. That's the difference
that's really
between it and being humble. You know who you are. You just don't have to show up and talk loudly. That's it.
that's so true. That's so true.
You gotta keep the same mindset. You gotta stay the young beginner.
Yes, it's funny you're saying this because it's really connected and related. I was just watching um, the bicycle kick for Cristiano Ronaldo. We just did yesterday in a match, and 40 years old man, like, and he had exactly the same one when he was on his prime. Still, he is in his prime, but this is definitely
Change
shows.
from
Yeah, definitely the discipline, taking care of, because of course Ronaldo is one of the people who's really taking good care of his health and mindset to stay in that shape, that level when he's 40. Like if you think about football players in the Middle East, for example, or anywhere in the world, when they are 40, like you don't know that. But absolutely, like, to relate to your point.
Pussy is kind of losing some, sharpness, and so it's normal because age,
Yeah.
But to maintain such level at his age, ability, such performance, that's just incredible. It's crazy.
Definitely.
That's the discipline he had, not since the last few years, because there is a lot of people, they start to feel old or they started getting old and now they want to change their lifestyle. It's over.
Mm.
It started long before. It's over.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, correct.
From day
Correct.
one. You don't wake up at 35 years old and say, okay, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to stay on the top at 40, 45. No, you won't.
Yeah.
So you cannot do at 35 what you were supposed to do at 20. You won't do at 40 what you're supposed to do at 30. You have to do what has to be done when it has to be done.
Yeah, correct.
And we're not always did it. Now it's just become more strategic, smarter. Now he's taking really good care of his, nutrition plan, sleep as well. He has a proper sleeping, strategy and plan and everything in order to stay as long as possible.
That's really interesting. And we're gonna later in the call, I wanna understand a little bit more about the program, because we spoke, of course, before about it with kind of using the same mindset mentality for the business world, which absolutely kind of different, but it also requires the same steps, same techniques, which is definitely something I'm loving that you're doing that program, because it's really one of a kind, and I think it's definitely going to change a lot in that industry, especially you coming from the athlete world. You're still in it. You're coaching like the Olympics team. Like, come on. And I think definitely this is
Look, it's really simple. No matter what you do, it requires the same tools. The approach is different. The strategy is different. Some tools might be different, but no matter what you cook, you need the kitchen.
yes,
Or what
yes,
kind of cook you're gonna do? You need a kitchen. That's
Yes.
the same. No matter
Yes.
what you do, an entrepreneur, as a team leader, as a CEO, as an athlete, as an artist, you need the same tools.
you need the same tools, definitely. Moving to the next segment, which is about the the mindset of not only becoming an athlete, but now you are training athletes yourself. Of course, you reinvented yourself, from an athlete championship to a coach who was now coaching the Chinese Olympics team, which is absolutely something amazing. I think it's a dream that you're living. I think so. But what are the main differences, managing your own mindset as an athlete, but now managing other athletes and mindset? And that's also a whole different world. So what are the main challenges you're facing as well?
The most challenge is that when you manage yourself, you just manage one person, one personality, one character, one mood. But when you manage a team, you have to manage like several characters, several personalities, several mood, several
Yeah.
like abilities as well. Everybody is very different, and but you need to have, and we're talking about an individual sport. So that's an individual sport, but I'm coaching 8 individuals.
Wow.
Most coaches going to coach one individual. You coach one athlete. Roger Federer, his coaches used to be only
Yeah.
dedicated to Roger Federer. He didn't have 8 top tennis players. So the thing is that this is an individual sport, and I have 4 girls, 4 boys, 4 men, 4 women, and I also have the youth team,
Wow.
which they are like 15.
This is amazing, man. Definitely. And of course,
It's almost like you have one meal for everybody, but the test will be very different from one to another. And so you have to adapt yourself all the time. So you need to learn, you need to learn who they are, where they come from, how they behave, what their goals. So you need to be very close to them.
close, yeah. So relationships and partnerships, definitely, definitely. Wow, this is already like thinking about it. You're also not dealing with just like an average people. They are really high performance athletes who are competing in a world championship and like one of the highest kind of sport levels. And yeah, maybe a lot of people doesn't really have a background of breaking. Of course, we in the scene we understand, but a lot of people who was outside the scene, they don't really know the background and how difficult actually doing all these stuff. So you're also really dealing with a lot of high level of mindset, and that's definitely requires discipline and requires like hard work. Easy, definitely. That's what you do.
It's very different, of course, the way
Yeah.
I to practice and the way I used to prepare myself like 15 years ago, the way they are practicing and the way they are preparing themselves. Of course, we have different tools, but
Yeah,
also, and it's also different pressure,
absolutely. That's
scale, different ambition, and different goals. But the pressure for them is pretty high, especially for a country like China, which is the top country in the world with
yeah,
the US
yeah,
in terms
yes.
of the Olympics. So even if breaking is a young Olympic sport, the pressure for them was really huge.
That's really interesting. What was these athletes, you're practicing, and of course you know a lot of people already in that kind of level of high performance. So what kind of their most challenges or something they struggle from? Is it fear? Is it confidence? Is it routine, lifestyle? What is it actually?
Now that's the pressure. Really, that's the pressure. The
The
pressure,
pressure.
yeah, the pressure to not so much to lose, but it's also about their own performance. Because carry on the flag, the Chinese flag on their shoulder, there is so much pride.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, every Monday morning before practice, we have the national anthem with the flag rising up. Everybody's like standing up and they're really proud of their country. So for them, it's a true honor to represent their country worldwide. For their family, it's really a true honor. And so I think it's the fear to not reach their goal and the pressure for different, like, because some even have a different magnitude. I just came back from the national games. So that's basically the Olympic Games in China for Chinese.
For
You know,
China.
we call it the national game. So you have every Chinese athlete, like the gold medalists from Paris 2024, they were competing, but they compete each other. Now they represent their region, their province, because
Wow.
split between provinces. There was like around 30 provinces. So each province represent, that's their team. And they compete each other. The magnitude of this event is huge. It's on national TV. Everybody's looking for it. It's every 4 years, and it's very, very important there. And it's almost like I felt some of my athletes having more pressure for the national game than for Paris.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine, definitely, especially in China. You're talking about one of the most high performance countries in the world in almost all fields. So definitely, it's really interesting to hear your thoughts about it. And if I want to ask you maybe last question before I move to the next segment, maybe an advice. So to people who's listening, people who's maybe competing in a competitions or in a high performance athlete game, sport, whatever. What one mindset or ritual really you are used to take yourself, or you're teaching to the people that people should do actually?
So there is several things to do. The very first thing to do is to practice at the same intensity or even higher than the competition request.
Hmm.
Because the problem with so many people, their training is soft. Competition isn't. And so they believe that it's like It's like a core, something you can just turn on, turn off. Like, no, the day of the event, don't worry, I'll be like full out. No, I need you to be 200% here, because your 200% at practice only means 90% on stage. So if you're 70% at practice, that's only 40% on stage. Nothing is going to like show up by itself, like by magic. Like, no, don't worry.
Yes.
There is a lot of people that they kind of, some athletes, they say, no, I don't push too much, but the day of the game, or on the field or on the ring, whatever, they're gonna say, no, don't worry, I'm gonna give everything. Now, if you're gonna give everything to there, nothing's gonna happen there. And if things happen, you won't know how to react. Your body will not be used to this kind of intensity.
Hmm.
And so the very first thing is to really, not on a daily basis, but you need to touch the intensity of the competition as much as possible. That's the very first thing. And of course, after we have a lot of tools and things that we use, such as visualization, self-thought, but also breathing. Breathing play a huge role, in high-level competition. And that's the same tool that I'm using with CEOs, managers, entrepreneurs, in order to give them the right tools for focus,
Focus. Yeah.
stress, and for visualization, goal
Definitely.
setting. That's exactly the same tool we use. We just drive them, in order to reach their business goals. But athletes and entrepreneurs or leaders, they have the exact same goals: high expectation, high performance. But athletes are trained for this. CEOs and entrepreneurs are not. They are not trained.
That's really interesting, Munir. And I want to take this maybe chance to kind of shift gears towards what you're doing in that direction in this world, especially with entrepreneurs, business, owners, CEOs. You mentioned now a little bit of that, but maybe is maybe a moment that you tell me a little bit, and of course the listeners a little bit about your work, your business, what actually you're doing right now.
So after 25 years of high athletic performance as an athlete and then as an Olympic coach, since I've started to build the HWE program, Hard Work is the Everything, in 2013, my goal was to change the breakers' mindset and help them to reach their full potential. But very, very quickly, I started to again enroll in different area, like give speeches for athletes, professional athletes, corporate, universities, schools. So then I realized that, actually, like mindset, motivation, discipline actually reach everybody. Everybody actually needs it. And so I started step by step to focus more into the business world, because I realized that, like first question, how much it costs to become an entrepreneur? It doesn't cost money. No,
Yeah.
it costs weight. First of all.
Yes. Courage and
First of all. That's what it costs, actually. It costs health,
that's true.
mental health. Some people even divorce because of their business.
Yeah.
So it costs a lot, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to cost that much. The reason is simple. You don't have the right tools and you don't use the proper method, because you just go all in, working 18 hours a day, 22 hours a day, sleeping 3 hours, have to deal with your kids if you have, with your personal life, finances, everything. And you become crazy. I just met entrepreneurs here this week. It's only like, I can't wait 2025 to finish, because I just think I just healed from my second burnout this year. That's insane.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And so the problem is they might reach their goals, but at what price? Their physical health, most importantly, their mental health, and also their personal life and everything. So the goal for me is to give and train and coach entrepreneurs, CEOs, managers, leaders, like we coach high elite athletes.
Interesting. And how you do that? In which form you do it? Like in the trainings or program? How you do that?
Through HWE. So that's part of the HWE Academy, because within the academy, of course, I'm coaching. I go to Hong Kong next week to train future coaches. We have high performance program in breaking, but now we also develop this high performance business program. And it's based on 4 pillars, which is the mindset, the health, and what we call performance spaces.
Environment.
So very, very, very innovative, but we're working on light and colors in order to rebuild people's environment. Because when you want to reach high level, you need the right equipment. You need to practice at the right place. Like I used to practice in train stations. I used to practice in malls. I used to practice in the street.
Me too.
The street. That was for real. But I would not have become a certain time world champion staying in a train station. Like best athlete needs the best equipment, the best
Yes,
stuff, the medicine, the best everything, you know. But the only thing is comfort. You need comfort. That's
we
not the
need
problem.
comfort.
The only thing you really have to pay attention is that comfort should never, must never reach your mind. Comfort is part of your environment. It's never part of your mindset. Or
Wow,
your,
that's interesting. Yeah, I
so
love that.
you need comfort. So you need the right tools. You need the you think like you think Ronaldo has the weakest team around him? No, you can't. The greatest artist has the greatest team. The greatest athletes have the greatest team. Okay, it's you need the right tools. You need the right method.
Man, this is really inspiring already. I think what I wanna is connected to what you're saying. My next question, and how do you manage your fear when you are doing that presentation, or before you're just gonna, battle the final battle in BC1 or in Battle of the Year, whatever? How do you deal with your fear and self, confidence and doubt, especially in high pressure moments like these?
You can be as confident as you think you were at practice. Once you get on the stage, once you get on the field, once your world is collapsing,
Yes, yes,
for real. What I mean?
yes, definitely.
Once you see your opponents practicing, get your boost on, like you start to doubt about yourself. So you need true self-confidence, but you need to work on the two highest skill that we on daily basis is visualization and breathing.
Nice.
Visualization and breathing. That's the
And
two biggest tools. There is many others, but the two biggest tools we use on a daily basis, and especially when you get closer to a competition or to a very important event, breathing and visualization.
and that help you like to stay focused, to your goals, what you want, and you kind of visualize exactly the
Exactly.
same scenario.
It will help you to manage your emotions,
That's
right?
really deep because most of the time, really emotions is the trigger, that
It
keeps
is.
you going. Yeah.
It is. I mean, look, take Steph Curry, for example. Steph Curry at practice, he can score up to 77 3 points in a row. Up 100, 100 shots, 3 points in a row, straight at practice. How many does he score in a game? He's not
Yeah,
scoring.
yeah, it's different. It's
Never
different.
score 77 3 point, in a row. Never. He might do 2, 3, but that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah. But what he can do at the game is only because he can do 10, 20, 30 times more.
because of the pressure and environment and the visual part, all of that. Yeah.
That's why Djokovic is using self-thought, and that's why also Nadal has his own, like, all his little thing before he starts. He has this, that all the time. Boom, the ball,
Yes.
every time. What is the hardest thing, opener? With the last, when a deal you just missed and you didn't sign, this thing will stay here for a long, long time. The point that you just lost, or the goal they just scored, this will stay here. And especially if it's your fault. Let's say you make like a big mistake in a game, and because of you, your team is losing 1-0. This
Mm.
might be the whole game. It will take the ability for you to perform at your highest level. You need to forget about what happened and focus on what's happening now, all the time, all the time.
Interesting.
And for this lot of exercises, there is a lot of things that we're using in order to always stay focused on what matters. What
And what
past
really matters.
doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is what's coming and what's already here.
Yes, yes. I personally know exactly. I try to do that, and my question actually is because of my experience. You get motivated, you get to stay in that discipline, and you visualize. But sometimes you kind of be in a comfort zone and then it drops. How do you manage actually not letting that drop and continue? Actually, keep that discipline.
That's why you need people can do things alone, because naturally we all have up and downs. I have my up and down, you know what I mean? I have to deal with some personal issues as well. So now how do you separate things? Like for some people who's struggling in life, like, I don't know, personal problems, family problems, work becomes their therapy.
Hmm.
Practice become their therapy. So the focus become more intense here in order for you to, it depends where are your up and down. Is it professional? Is it personal, it depends. So sometimes when your professional aspect is a little bit going down, your personal will help you to maintain the intensity. Actually, personally, you actually struggling and having to deal with some difficulties right now. Your professional aspect will help you to maintain out of the surface. So it's always about dealing with the up and down.
Yeah.
You learn how to stay here. Why the events goes up and down. You have to learn how to stay here.
How to stay disciplined. Definitely. I can absolutely relate to that. And it's nice to hear that you always have to think of, to staying stable, to staying, even when the ups and downs coming, and you could continue, keep going, and remember your loses, remember your failure. And that's what will motivate you.
Consistency. That's what I repeat to my
Consistency. Yeah.
consistency.
Consistency.
I want
Yeah.
you to be good one day. I don't want you to be good for just 15 minutes of the game of the battle or whatever you do. Some athletes, they can be good half of the game. Some athletes can be good just one game. Some
Hmm.
can be good like for just 3 months and then they disappear. Consistency. You have to be good
Consistency.
all the game. You have to be good at every games, and you have to be good all the season, and you have to be good every season. Consistency.
Yeah.
So build up consistency. Start slow. Start very slow or very low and stay here. And then come up slowly, months after months, week after week, or years after years, until you can reach such level, but stay consistent. But if you try to rise up straight, everything that goes up goes down.
Goes down. Yeah. Yeah.
Need control.
Interesting.
That's why starting at the bottom is the key. When I say I was not talented, that was hard. Actually, that was really hard. And especially if you doubt about yourself and you see your friends progressing a lot faster, or you see some other company making great deals, or some entrepreneurs like, progressing in their business, and you feel like you're stuck or something. That's hard. That's tough. But you have to look at the long journey.
Nice.
It's not a sprint. It's really a marathon. So it's not because he started earlier means that he's going to finish first. Because at the end, the only moment we know the winner is at the end of the race. Not while you race. You can race last the whole race and run last. The goal is to finish first. It's not to finish second or third. So it's not a problem if you're last the whole time. The goal for you is to finish first. And how many athletes actually race second, third, fifth, 10th, but at the last leg, they go before like finish first.
That's really so, like, really looking at your end goal, where you want to go.
Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different journey. Don't compare your journey with someone else's journey. It doesn't at all. I mean, you don't come from the same environment. I saw people studying breaking same as me, but they were not coming from a small city like me. They were coming from Paris. So they had knowledge, they had resources, they could go to competition. I could not go to Paris when I was 15 years old. I had to wait until I go like 18, 19, then I can start to travel a little bit. So I didn't have the same, experience. Didn't have the same information. I could not get in, like, be part of a great team. Like I became the captain of Bagano, which was already one of the biggest team in the world. But
Absolutely.
could not be part of Bagano when I started, because I was from a very small town, very far from Paris. That's my story. So now if I look at some others, they actually started, same as me, but they're reaching a great team very earlier. They start to be really well known and travel a lot earlier. Could like doubt and say, oh, it's not for me. I will never make it. No, I have my journey, he has his journey, and everybody has to still, moving forward.
Yeah. And this consistency is what help you to be where you are. I think bringing, being part of Vagabonds, and, like I started breaking, watching the videos of Battle of the Year, Vagabonds, and all that. So you also been in that part, winning championships, winning competitions everywhere in the world, traveling everywhere in the world to reach to that, becoming the coach, but also teaching, athletes and people who are competing in the Olympics, like how this is pure kind of proof of consistency. That's what, if you would have give up, and I'm sure a lot of people did kind of join the same kind of direction, but somewhere they stopped, but you didn't. And this is the thing where why you're here today and why you are really taking that initiative. I think what really made this your journey also again for me interesting, because you also was one of the very few people that you were involved in the Olympic decision. Like, I don't know exactly what you did or which part you did, but I know you were giving a lot of lectures and you were talking to the organization.
Yeah, I campaigned Paris 2024. I worked with the president Paris
Yeah, yeah, that's what yeah. So
as an ambassador for Paris 2024 in order to
yeah,
bring break. So actually, when the Paris organization thought about breaking, they asked me to work with them towards these goals. Basically, the pressure was on my shoulder. Like, should we bring breaking or not? Say
well,
yes. If yes, why? If no,
I
why?
didn't choose the right person.
See, I felt the pressure, like the future of my sport is like on my
Yes,
shoulder. Because
yes,
if I say no, you should not, it doesn't fit, doesn't matter, the community is not ready. I don't think the best athlete will compete, they will have never put breaking at the Olympics. And then
Munir.
we'll give a speech in front of the IOC members. It's
Yeah, yeah.
really critical, yeah. In Lausanne at the IOC headquarters. Yeah, it was something.
Now, I want to ask you, of course, about how was that feeling when, breaking was in the Olympics. Of course, that's something amazing. But before that, you have dealt with whole different world, different system, different structure, very professional, Olympics. There's no joke. There's a system. There is, structure for every little thing. And yeah, don't get me wrong. And respect to the community. But breaking is a chaos, is a mess. There's no structure. There's no system. How did you deal with that, with your mindset? And you actually made it happen. You made the breaking become an Olympics. So what was your main struggles and how was the winning for you?
The key is adaptive, and I learned how to really adapt myself to any circumstances.
Nice.
Been the last 15 years, I've been giving keynotes and conferences in absolutely every area. Like, I mean, either I give to Salesforce, I've been working with Red Bull for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
The biggest brand actually, like Fujifilm, whatever, or like some of the biggest school, like the Dubai American Academy of the Swiss International School. I mean, I gave a conference for the French president. I've been invited by the French president to give one of my conferences. So like, for me, that was awesome. So I can speak to young kids at primary school and I can speak to the president.
Nice, nice.
That myself. I even developed programs for prison, that was like, for like, anti-terrorism programs in French prison back in 2000. Either I go and talk to prison, either I go talk to the French president, either I go and talk to the biggest companies in the world, some of the most successful entrepreneurs. I know how to adapt myself because in breaking, it's all about adapting yourself. We don't know the music. The DJ put the music. We don't have a list. You know what I mean? He put whatever he wants.
Yes.
Some they just put their own production that we never heard before, and we have to perform on this music. And
on this music, yeah.
Breaking.
I love that. I love that.
You never know the music the first time ever. Not at practice, during the competition. So we learn how to adapt ourselves all the time. Breaking battle is a dialogue. That you create this thing with your opponents. That's why sometimes, you can use his personal, stuff, his hats, whatever. There is a conversation happening. You need to learn to adapt yourself no matter what happens. You got the crowd very close to you. Like the floor is never the same. Like, you want to play football, that's the same dimension. Every field are the same. You know what I mean? Basically, the field is the same.
Yeah.
Same, you know what I mean? Everything is same. But in breaking, is every time different.
Different. Everything is different.
Unique stage. Not that you go on a small cipher. One day it's a really slippery floor. The other day it's like really like a sticky and everything. So we learn how to adapt ourselves on every single, situation. And I just like same in business. I just adapt myself. I adapt my message. I adapt, the thematic. I adapt, the tone, everything. I adapt myself all the time.
This is really. This is incredible, Mounir, and I love. You mentioned as well in the beginning with adopting yourself with the environment, with the situation, and this is exactly what breaking taught me, taught you, taught a lot of people, and I'm sure also in a lot of other sports is, like you said, and I love this example, like you don't know the music. You don't know what's going to be played, but you got to break on it and you're going to break the beat on it and you got to, win the battle.
Gymnastics, they do a presentation that they have performed, they work on it, they put the music, everything, they know it perfectly. It's a presentation. Yeah. Like we do a showcase. Okay, when we do a showcase, we have the music, we have a choreography based on the music. Competition, don't know the music.
You don't know the music and you adopt yourself with the same exact mindset, being in face of representing the Olympics, doing presentations to the French president and a lot of those corporate companies. That also requires high level of, adaptation to be in that situation. So really inspiring when you really.
And when you collaborate with some big companies, like I say, okay, you work with Red Bull. I've been working with Red Bull in more than 30 countries. I've been working at the Athletic Performance Center in Salzburg. I've been working at the headquarters. Now I'm working with, I developed a youth program in Norway, in the Oslo Olympic Training Center. So
Nice.
actually, I'm working with the three biggest high performance company or countries. China, number one country in the world with with the USA in terms of Summer Olympics. Norway is the number one country in the world with the Winter Olympics. And this is a very small, only 3 millions and a half
Yeah,
something. China is 1,300,000,000. Totally different.
totally
But
different.
Red Bull. Red Bull is one of the greatest brand in terms of
It is.
extreme
It is.
food. You know what I mean?
It is.
So I'm I'm lucky to collaborate and develop high performance program for those three things. And so I learn from the very best. I've been learning. Why? Because I adapt myself.
You adapt yourself.
Red Bull is a brand. China is a country. Norway is a country. It's very different. And Norway and China doesn't work the same. When you
Yeah,
have
of course, totally different.
millions population, you don't select your athlete. You don't train your athlete the same way than in China. The selection is very, very strategic in Norway, and it works. They're
Mm.
one of the greatest country every sport. In China, it's very different. You only select the very best, and you push them.
Yeah,
Red Bull, they have a marketing plan. It's a brand at the end. You know what I mean? But they
of course.
high performance programs. So learning from the APC, the Athletic Performance Center with Red Bull, learning at the Olympic Training Center of Oslo, and learning from the Chinese Olympic Center, give me the opportunity to have better skills, better tools, different mindset, and learning to adapt myself all the time.
This is really nice. Wow. My next segment is also nicely connected to that, which is about high performance leadership teams building in business, because definitely this is something I want to bring to the show. Your coaching goes beyond breaking, as we said, companies, federations, governments, athletes, training, leadership, culture, mindset, and it doesn't end. What are the top 3 ingredients of high performance teams?
There are 3 things for me. It's like a principle, really, always. It's, first of all, the humility to learn, humility to practice.
Nice.
Second, the confidence to perform, the confidence to daily serve the will to succeed. That's the 4.
Nice. This is definitely gold. This is gold.
Confident, deliver, will to succeed. Can align those 3, nothing will stop you.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And for the motivation part, I think it's also something very important in a lot of jobs, in a lot of business projects. What are the most misunderstood facts about motivating a team or inspiring somebody?
Listen, you know why most people struggle to motivate their team or even motivate themselves. I mean, it's like saying to somebody, you got to run fast, or you got to have a fancy car. You can't tell somebody you got to be motivated. You got to be disciplined. You got to teach him how. You got to give him the tools to develop ability. Being motivated, it's an ability. Discipline is an ability. Resilience, it's an ability. Like running fast, like having a successful business. You cannot say to somebody, you better have a successful business, and that's it. And you don't show him, teach him. Like, run fast. He can't run fast until training. So people cannot be motivated just because you tell them to be motivated. So don't try, forget about the theory. Don't talk about what you have read. Talk about what you have done. Talk about your
Really, show it.
Observe people. As a coach, I need to observe my athletes because they won't tell me everything, especially when they have to deal with pressure, when they have fears. They won't tell me.
Yeah.
If you just ask your athlete, how do you feel today? You okay? No, I'm okay, coach. I'm good. He will never tell you, no, I'm not okay because I'm scared. It's not going to tell you. You have to figure it out because you need to observe. You need to talk to him.
Interesting. Wow.
Bring the right answer.
Definitely. You have spoken in 67 countries. Of course, much more or bigger number of cities. What universal human truth showed up everywhere.
Ambition, the will to succeed. Everybody wants to be successful.
Yeah.
Like I never met somebody that said, "No, I don't want to be successful. I'm good like this." No, everybody want to be successful, but what success means, that's the
What
difference.
success means, yeah.
It's a different definition. You know, for some people it's money. For some people it's related to their career. It depends. For some people it's just being healthy. Like being successful is reaching your goal. What's your goal? Like some people they have a really small goal. Some people just want to open a garage because they are passionate about cars. If you open a garage and you have your own business related to cars, you're successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to be successful.
That's interesting. Yeah, definitely. And where do you think the future of breaking? Like, I think you've been in the journey from the beginning, but also not in the journey. You were involved in a lot of aspects or facts of that leveling up, the literally the breaking to be in the Olympics, which absolutely it's a milestone for the culture because yeah, breaking coming from the streets. So to be in the Olympics, last Olympic was something definitely all of us were like, wow, this is crazy. Of course, there's so much in the background. I'm not gonna bring it to the podcast, of course. But what does the future of breaking look to you?
I've been collaborating with some of the top athletes in the world, and especially in France, gold medalists and world champions. Every sport have the same struggle.
Of course, yeah, of course, of course.
There is, problems everywhere. It's not only related to breaking, but yeah, breaking. Let's say it's a little bit more fragile because of where it comes from. Because, like I always said, is the tool of the pros. Growing the world, breaking is the tool of the pro because it doesn't require anything.
Anything, yeah. You just need the floor, yeah, definitely.
Flat, clean floor. Sometimes it's not even clean. It's just flat. Sometimes it's not even flat, and
Yeah.
you're still like, throwing yourself on the floor.
Also,
And it's
yeah.
still done.
So,
So
where do you think the breaking going, and what does the future look like for you?
I think with the Olympic, we open a new path for breaking that did already provided so much opportunities for young athletes who actually changed the new generation's mindset, who actually gave the opportunity for parents to really push their kids in a positive way, being behind, be
Yes,
supportive. Like my parents didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know where I was, what I was doing. They let me do what I was doing just because they knew that I was okay. I
they
was not
trust
making.
you, and yeah,
I never made any trouble to my parents, and they never had to deal with police or whatever. Even
and
at
that's the
school.
positive part of breaking, definitely, yeah.
Oh, they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what I was about to do with it, but they trusted me because they knew me. But they didn't know. They never came to see me. When I see to these parents, they're traveling with their kids. They're traveling with them all around the world. They are with them. They are very supportive, and that's great because
Yes.
now they see a future for their kids. My parents didn't see any future in breaking. To these parents, they see a future because there is full opportunities.
That's really, really amazing to say because it's definitely about the support you get, from your parents, your community, country. And I think one advice that I want to ask you, especially for listeners in the Middle East or Africa or countries where we're not able to be part of the Olympics. I tried my best. Unfortunately, for Egypt, it didn't work out for so many reasons. But you've been a true example of making it happen. So, what advice you want to give to the people in the Middle East or countries that they don't have this accessibility to be able to make that change?
Actually, there is also realities, okay? And breaking is still totally unbalanced because every country doesn't have the same opportunities. I'm French. Okay? The Olympics was in my country. I brought breaking to the Olympics with Paris 2024. So, of course, I was able to develop more opportunities for the French scene. But now, see, in my country, Morocco, because I'm French Moroccan, the scene is different. The opportunities are different. And the top Moroccan athlete had to move to Austria and become Austrian, in order to have
Be-
better opportunities, even if Morocco is doing really good, and especially now, with the young generation, because we have the Youth Olympics next year, 2026, for example, and Morocco is really, really doing great. But 5 years ago, at the beginning of the project, even 7 years ago, it was really, really difficult. And there is so many countries like in Africa, in South Asia, in East Europe, in South America. I saw people they sold their car in order to travel for one competition. I saw people selling their TV, in order to come for one competition.
yeah.
that they don't stand a chance because in their country, they are very limited. So they don't have the right teacher. They don't have the right equipment. They only have their will. But your will is not enough when you want to compete at the highest level. If you don't have the right people with you, if you don't train with the right in the right environment, you don't stand a chance against the Koreans, against the Japanese, against the French, against the Americans. You don't stand a chance. That's the reality. So it's still very unbalanced. So
Balanced, yeah.
people who come from like Egypt, like there is an athlete that you know very well in Egypt, Flash, that is
Flash,
actually
of course.
in China for years
Yeah,
now, you
yeah.
know, because in his country,
He
it
grew
was
up.
to you know what I mean, to represent Egypt at the Olympics, at least in breaking, because also depending where you come from, the Olympics might not be a priority.
You know, we tried everything for Clash, like, and he knows, of course, we're very close contact, and we just needed just one paper, like, just one paper. Just say you can.
Good
Didn't
work
work.
with China. I had him to one of our training camp, and he did came to coach the youth, the youth team
Yeah,
for 6 months.
yeah,
He did
yeah,
amazing. He did
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and definitely this is a really,
But for some
again,
countries, the Olympics are not a priority, or at least not every sport, because
no,
it's
it was
also
not for
this.
Egypt. That's
If you
absolutely,
have a chance for a medal, if you have a chance
absolutely.
for a medal, like let's say you're a top athlete, okay, and you have a chance for the medal in Egypt, they might push for you, you know, and give you.
But you said it. You
And the
said
thing,
it is not priority for Egypt breaking differently. Yeah,
no chance for a medal.
yeah,
But
definitely.
or it's the same. But if you don't start the process right now to scouting the young athlete and to train young athletes, nothing's going to happen in the next 10 or 20 years. The same.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Before I trained China, I had requests from India to build a big high performance program, you know, on the long term. We didn't finalize the program, but I went there and we start to talk with big companies who were really willing to support and develop a breaking in India. And they had the right mindset, let's say. They didn't say, okay, we want to be the best in the next 2 years. We know India has potential, but India is not a top country in our sport. But actually, that was the same with China. China had really talented young athletes, but totally inexperienced. China was nobody 4 years ago in our sport. They had no medal, no track record. All of my athletes never traveled overseas to compete on the international scale. So I had this young with high potential, but with absolutely no high level experience.
Experience, yeah, which is absolutely important. Yeah,
Zero medal to today, 25 medals.
yeah,
Silver, a bronze medal. And China is now one of the top 3 countries in the world
yes, yes.
because there is a process, because there is a method, because they let me do my work. And
Yeah.
I have talented young athletes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Wow, we can go along the way. It's unbelievable. It's already an hour already. But really amazing exchange, Mounir. I love the conversation. I love the outcome, and especially what you do in terms of business. I'm gonna share all your contacts in the description so people can reach out to you, of course. But before we end up, I have this round of close, quick questions that I wanna an easy and one answer. What was the hardest moment in your career?
Definitely the world final, the BC1 World Final in 2013 when I lost in the final.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Was the worst place ever. Especially, you know that I was undefeated for 15 rounds at this
Yeah, yeah.
biggest competition
He was
ever.
about to win the first ever, like twice in a row. Like
First ever and still today to have defended my title up to the final. Nobody has ever won twice in
that's
a row.
true. That's
So
true.
how difficult this competition is. And before me, they went up to the semifinal only on the title defense. And I was defending my title up to the final, but I lost.
Yeah.
And my goal was to win twice in a row.
And that was pure example of, managing high performance level of health, mindset, practice, which absolutely, like you said, no one ever did that to reach to the final for the second year. I'm sorry you didn't make it, but nothing is impossible. I'm waiting to see you back again.
Was the hardest moment because being the first and only one still today to win what we called back then the world trip from the French qualification, European qualification
Yes.
to the
You were
World
the one, yeah.
12 and being up to the final round of the
Yeah.
World War 2013.
Definitely, definitely. Not easy, man. Not easy. Most im-
I'm still
nice, nice.
I wish once in a row. It will happen. It
That's the
happened
most important.
category, but never on the men category.
Yeah, that's the most important. All right, most important daily habit you do.
Developing ideas. I mean, I have ideas all the time, so I have to take my phone and write it down or talk about like 15 years of ideas. Like, man, it, all the way, never stop, never stop, never stop. Yeah, it's hard sometimes, because and that's my artistic side, it's the creativity. And being a dancer, building your own combos, your own choreography, and always having this artistic mindset, it's sometimes it can be hard to manage in terms of business because you have so much ideas every time, every day, and you have to learn how to deal with those ideas one by one, select them, strategically. But it's hard because you can't stop thinking.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
something that we also work a lot. Like if I ask you right now, okay, don't think about an elephant. The first thing you have in mind is an elephant.
I'm thinking about it already. I'm thinking about it already.
That's why there were so many people that can't sleep properly because your brain never stops.
Never stops. Yeah, your
You
brain never
have
stops.
to, slow it down, shut down. There is a lot of technique that we're using for this. And so for me, that's what I try to use for the ideas. We're trying to sometimes slowing them down.
Interesting. I'm gonna try to do that definitely. A country that impacted you the most. You traveled to almost the world. So, what was the one country really impacted you?
Dubai.
Nice. And why?
It sounds very uh, I don't know. Today, when you talk about Dubai, there was a lot of misperception a little bit, but I've been in Dubai since 2011. That was a very different one than the one people know today. And this country really, really changed me a little bit, yeah, because um, I felt so, I don't know, the atmosphere, like there were serenity in this country when I came
Mm,
first time in 2011. And so that's the reason why I moved there since the last 4 years. But it took me 10 years, but since day one, that was my goal. But as a young B-boy back then, that was a little bit difficult. But I came every time, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 times, the last 15 years for work, for vacation, everything. So yeah,
nice.
Dubai
Again,
was
is your it
some
was
it sounds cliche a little bit, you know what I mean? But the Dubai I know is the Dubai from 2011.
I know. I've been there also from even before, so definitely I can agree with you. My famous question of that podcast: what does level up means to you?
Like, it's everything. That's why I call my program Hard Work Easy Everything. Working hard so that everything becomes easy. In order to level up every aspect of your life, level up your health, level up your skills, level up your relationship with people and your family and your friends, everything. You need to have such ambition and you need to level up all the time. Like what we say, you cannot like stay at the same position. Either you progress or you don't. But you can't tell me, I didn't progress so much, but I'm the same. You can't be the same in your world that
That's
is
true.
forward. Because if you are the same, everybody knows, it's in front of you. Because everybody keep progressing, keep leveling up. So either you progress, either you don't. It's like when you go on a highway, you just make a little break. You spend like 1 hour to you like double pass all those trucks and stuff. You just take a 10-minute break. As soon as you go back on the highway, you get the same truck in front of you.
Really,
You know
really
what?
true.
But you didn't move. You stay at
Yeah,
the same spot for 10 minutes. But everybody else is
it's
leveling up.
moving. Yeah, yeah.
They're leveling up. You know what I mean? So if you stay at the same place, actually you become behind.
I love that.
So
This
you
is
need to
so
level
good.
up all the time in
This is
every aspect of your life without pressure. You know what I
nice.
mean? Without pressure. Just enjoying the process of progressing, of learning, and everything will be natural.
If you stay in the same place or you stop, you stay in the same place. I love that. It's so true.
Either you progress, either you don't, but you cannot like stay at the
You
same
cannot
place.
stay in the same time. Wow, Munir, your story is unbelievable. And of course, your achievement. And honestly, huge thank you for your time. I really appreciate, this relationship, this partnership from very long time. Thank you so much for your time today and
You
the
for having
amazing, insightful exchange. I'm going to share your details. I'm going to share, and we stay, of course, in touch. But I'm watching your progress and the level up you're doing. And definitely we're connected.
thanks to you, brother. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
Thank you, Munir.